Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our monthly project recipe. We're going to be doing the birthday jubilee tonight. And I'm Cheryl Bliss, along with Kari Schick, and our friend Colleen Day, I think, is on a cruise.
He is.
Her granddaughter's first cruise. So Colleen won't be joining us, but she's having fun making memories. So I just wanted to share with you guys that almost all of the components of the birthday jubilee collection are still available, and this came out in January. So to have elements of most elements of a collection still available is kind of rare these days. But it's really pretty and fun, and these were the layered borders, and those are really cool, also still available. The paper pack is really pretty, and I'll be working from that this evening. Here's some of the paper selections. And there is also a really cool Fab paper pack that has 6 different sheets in it that work together really nicely with all of these components. And the Stacked Presents border maker cartridge is still available, and you see that it actually goes in that direction. So this is a little bit different than some of their other border maker cartridges, which usually just go horizontally. And then the cake punch is also still available. So anyway, lots of fun stuff that you can still get a hold of. And and the mats too. The new mat packs come with 12 in them, so they're a little bit smaller and more economical. So let me move everything. So here's the sample that I created, and what I did is they had 2 base papers. I used the Best of the Gradient Blues for my 2 bases, and then I used the candle paper from Birthday Jubilee, and then this polka dotted orange here. In the directions, it says to use blue cardstock with this paper selection, but I did go ahead and use the orange shimmer because, what is it called? Is it orange shimmer? It's a different name. But anyway, that's what I used here for my some of my mats, because the blues didn't make sense to have more blue when I used blue as my background. So Kari's gonna share her screen and show you the different paper selections that the company suggests if you actually have Birthday Jubilee. And one of the paper selections was this one, is what I'm going to follow along, but I did again pick the 2 base papers that I'm going to use are from the blue Gradient Blues best, I think they call them the best of. There was a little collection that they had for a while that had all the gradient papers, so I'm using those as my bases because I don't want to use my pretty designer papers as my bases. So anyway, Miss Kari, do you have?
I do.
The advisor
I started to share them and
Oh,
you
sorry.
weren't quite ready. That's
And
okay.
I was still talking.
That's all good. So here is the advisor guide, and they recommended blue solid cardstock for each kit, and then 4 sheets of the designer paper. But like Cheryl said, she was picking from one of the gradient packs, but you can kind of see that they have a couple of different collection or pages here that they used with them, depending on whether they were going with the balloons or the cupcakes or the candles. And so you can see some of that. And then the other things that they recommended and had here for the tools needed were your trimmer, your tape runner, your repo, the Stacked Presents chain border maker cartridge, the custom cutting system and oval patterns, as well as the blue and the red custom cutting system. And they have, you can see another image of the Birthday Jubilee stickers and embellishments here. And then I think that was it.
And I have not decided if I'm going to use blue or not. Well, I haven't decided on my cardstock. I just realized when we were looking at that. I may stick with the orange. because I've got blue in my bases, so I might grab a piece of orange when we get to that. All right, so we're gonna start with our designer paper number 1. And I do want to point out, designer paper number 1 is going to go in this area and this area. And so if you are using something that is directional, you're going to want to put your paper into the trimmer in this way, so that you're cutting in that direction. All right, and so we get our directions here. So we're going to cut our designer paper. We're going to cut 2 1-inch strips. So 1 inch, again, with the paper going in the cutter this way, 1 inch. Inch. And then we're going to cut it at 5 inches. Designer paper number 1. Designer paper number 2. If you notice the designer paper here, the side that we are using is a darker tone on tone. So I could potentially use cardstock, I guess, if you wanted to, but the tone on tone is nice because a lot of this is going to be mattes. So we're going to cut, our first cut is at 1 1/4 inch. For cutting guide, real quick, 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch. These are going to be, oops, let me go all the way through. Those are going to be part of our border bases. So 1 1/4 inch and 1 1/4 inch. And then we're going to cut at 4 inches. And 4 inches. This little piece that's left over, we're going to cut some little ovals out of it. Now on this, one of these, they have us cutting at 4 by 6. So you'll cut it in half. So you'll turn this and cut it to create 2 photo mats. Now on this last piece, I'm going to cut it how it shows here, but not, I wouldn't cut this piece off yet. So let's just cut this one right at the 6. And then depending on your photos, we may or may not cut that down to the 4 by 4.5. So it'll depend on what your photos tell you to do when we get to that point. I'm going to go run and grab a piece of orange, I believe. Oh, it is called orange shimmer. I wasn't sure if it had a fancy name. I know the green is like parakeet, but we're gonna save this little piece and come back and do our ovals after we're done with our trimmer. So right now we're going to actually go switch over to your border maker cartridge. And so any chain style border maker cartridge will work for this. You could also use a sticker if you didn't want to use the border maker here, because it's just going to be coming right down the center. This stacked presents chain is interesting style. It's a little bit different than most of the other ones. Actually, I think it might be the only one that runs in this direction. It punches and then it stands up in that direction. So kind of cool. We're just going to punch our 2 borders. That orange shimmer paper, that's really pretty. It goes, coordinates nicely with this Jubilee collection because you got the orange and the balloons there. I'm trying to take up some extra time here so everybody catches up with me. We're going to switch back to our trimmer now. Actually made a nice smooth edge, but I'm going to turn my paper and pull this back out. Is everybody caught up with me?
Almost. Yes.
We're really just cutting more photo mats here.
Yep.
And it's basically the same as the last sheet of paper that we did. So we're just going to cut at 4 inches twice. Four and 4. And I would just go ahead and cut these right now and just cut them in half. So we have 4 4x6s. And then when we get to where we're going to put our photos on, you can decide if you want to cut this down or not. Because I think on my sample one, I ended up doing it a little bit differently. So sometimes, you know, we do all our cutting and then we realize, oh, I could have kept that together and, you know, done something different. So we'll do that and then we'll get to that in a little bit. So here is our, this was the cardstock piece and this is the leftover from designer number 2. So just go ahead and make sure that you have your 2 smaller strips intact. See, this one's a little bit bigger. This is the leftover. All right. These are going to be part of our border, so we don't want to cut that. We just want to cut these. So we're going to use our, this is the smallest oval in the custom cutting system. And we're going to start with, let me read the directions. Smallest oval. So inside the smallest oval, blue blade, then red. Okay, so we're basically cutting out the inside. Let me just show you real quick on here. What they did is they did this to make it look like ribbons on a package. If you're doing a layout that it doesn't make sense to have, you know, have this, you don't necessarily need to do this step, and maybe you might save this. I know Pat's doing something from Ireland. You might, you know, save it and do a different punch or something. So you may not need to do this part if you don't have the need for these little ovals, but it is a cute little technique because you know, you're going to put this down here and you're cutting the tiny little oval in the middle, and then you do not move the oval, the shape, don't move it, keep it in the same spot. And then you're going to switch to the red. You're going to go ahead and cut a little ring, little oval ring, and that ends up being your little ribbon. Trim that up. Okay. Tip scissors just to even that off. Let's see, it just makes a cute little oval shape. So we can go ahead and just do 3 of each one. Does anybody have any questions or comments while we're working on this part? What is everybody using? We don't have a huge crowd here tonight. Colleen's away, and so some of her girls are away as well. What's Deanna using?
I have a hodgepodge of different papers. So
Okay. What are your photos of?
Strawberry picking. I'm trying to make
fun.
bows like the tops of the strawberry.
Oh, okay.
So they're pretty much all green of some sort.
Okay, nice. Okay, so you're going to do 3 on your cardstock and then 3 on your designer paper as well. Pat's doing Ireland photos. What papers are you using, Pat? She's on
No,
mute.
I was on mute, but I am
Oh.
using, believe it or not, I have Ireland seams.
Oh, nice.
So I'm using that paper to make the whole layout.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you using for your border?
I'm just using, I don't even know what the border is called. I'm terrible with the names of the board
Okay.
punches, but it's.
Oh, shoot, I wasn't supposed to move that. Sorry, I got talking. You got to leave this here. Sorry. I was listening to you.
I'm just using a hodgepodge of things, so
Okay.
it's a different, border maker, so it's,
Okay, so we'll be surprised when we get to see
Mhm.
it. Yeah, so that's the trick of these little things when you're doing it. You can't move it in between your cuts. So you got your center of your oval here, the little piece come out, and then don't move this pattern, and then cut the next one down there. I think I have 3. Oh, no, I might not. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so I've got 3 of each one. Shall we pause while we wait for everybody to catch up? All right, we're going to get on with the next steps. So we're going to build our borders. So you're going to take the 1¼ inch piece, and then you'll be putting this 1-inch piece on top of that. And then you'll be putting the border that you punched on top of that. So we're just basically going to layer that up. That's the other side of my designer paper. Just running that evenly down the center of that one. Might as well do the same step. So that's the other side. This blue with sort of like the bursts on it is the other side of the balloon paper. Oh, that didn't come out evenly. Good thing for repo. I think I can do a little better lining that up. The bottom is still not to my liking. Get over there. Okay. Now here's the border. Put a little refill on there. And then you're just going to center that right in the middle. This border is a little bit, this first piece, if you're looking, you can't put that in the middle because then the bow part will be over. So you got to look down at this place to set the middle and then just follow that down on your border because it's a funny shape. I want to get that right in the middle there. I don't know what borders everybody else is using, but it's pretty cool. Stacked present chain. So this is the little shape, the little bow is what they were trying to duplicate on the ovals that we cut. Go ahead and center that right in the middle. Okay, and then I put my designer paper onto my mat here. I'm going to set these aside for a second because we're going to set these now. And they go 1 inch from the bottom over here and 1 inch from the top over here. All right, so if you line that up on your mat and then this is our designer paper on top, and I'm at 1 inch over here and 1 inch over there. Super easy. I love our 13-inch mats for doing that. Line that up that 1 inch.
Just in case anybody is trying to do those ovals digitally,
Oh,
just so you
yeah.
know, the outside one is 1.25 by 1 inch. And then the inside, if you cut out the inside from it, it was 0.75 by 0.5 inch. And it turns out really nice.
Thank you for that. All right. We have quite a few people that come on and join us digitally now.
And I'll
Ari's influence. All
let
right.
me share
so-
my screen while you're doing that just momentarily. So if I'll record it, but
Okay, let me just tell people that this border goes at 4.5 inches, okay?
4.5, you said?
So it goes over and you set the beginning of it at 4.5 and over here, 4.5. So 4.5 in from each side.
Perfect.
Mhm.
So I'll just show this really fast. But that is the using the dimensions I just said, 1.25 by 1 for the outside, and
Oh,
then
look
I
at that.
cut a 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch from the center, and then I just aligned them up, and it works out pretty well. So then I put the square on top of it, and it looks just like Cheryl's did in paper.
Yay. Cute. All right, so now we're gonna work on this part. And I know we didn't cut all of our mats, so some of them are gonna look a little different. So let's see, that one goes there, this one goes here. One goes here. And on my sample, I did do it a little bit differently because I'm like, look what I'm doing. I'm covering up this beautiful designer paper. So on my sample one, I cut my pictures down smaller. So I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I'm like, I'm covering all my pretty designer paper. So I actually, if you can make your pictures smaller, go ahead and make them smaller if you want to. They're designed to fit on here perfectly, but you're hiding all of that pretty designer paper. So anyway, that was just my thought as I was doing it. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty and we're covering it. No. I feel like that's wrong. It's this one. And then this was a blue, and this was this one. See, we're going to end up cutting these or cutting this one, depending on your photos. So my sizes are a little bit off compared to our sample. So here, I'll show you the sample in case you want to see how they had them laid out. So here and here, and then there and there. And obviously that's going to be, they used a journaling square here, or they created a journaling square and then they used the little pieces there. And then this side is different. These two are the same. These two are different because we'll cut them down if we want to. I'm going to wait until I figure out what pictures are going there, if that makes sense. And just want to point these out. If you're using the little ovals for your little, it's supposed to look like a little bow. I'll just give you one little tip. What I did is I put repo on these, and I kind of had this one go down a little bit lower and the one in the middle the highest, and then the one on the side down a little bit. And then I tucked them underneath, kind of tucked them in here like that to see what it would look like and what I was working with. So it kind of gives it the idea of a bow. If you want a bow on your, whatever your layout is. We have people that they just like whatever photos they're working on, that's what the kind of layout they do. So it may or may not make sense to have bows on your layout. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start putting my photos on, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna trim up a little bit later, so we can pause the recording. To the All right, so I'm just about done with my layout here, but I did want to give you a couple tips on putting in these little ovals. When you're setting this one down and the one down here, just put your adhesives lower down underneath. Don't do it across the top so that you can slide these in underneath. So my adhesive is like right about there, okay? And so what we want to do is flip these over and put repo on the ends that are going to go underneath the package. And so the way I did it is off to the side. I put the first one on an angle going off that way. And I get it just below the oval part being tucked down in there in the package. Then the middle one goes kind of up straight, overlapping. It's supposed to look like a ribbon. And then the very end of the oval just underneath the package there. And then this one tilting again. And then kind of making this, like if this were a ribbon, it is going over this piece here. So once I have those situated and if I'm happy where they are, then I'm just going to put a little bit more repo underneath there like that, and then set that down. I did want to show you guys a little tip for using this. This is the Celebrations Cake Punch, and it cuts out kind of a interesting shape when you do it. It's got a bunch of different elements to it. So this is the piece of paper that we had that was left over. So if you punch one, this would be your bottom. Okay, that's the base. See, I'm gonna put it on here. So I just made a little circle. So that's gonna be the base. Then I cut a blue one and I cut the top of the candles off. So I'm basically making blue candles. Okay, so this is basically just for the blue. And then I'm gonna put red on top. So what I'm doing here, hopefully you can see it, it's kind of small, but the cake is red. The candles are blue and the flames are orange. And it was, you know, just 3 quick punches. And then you just cut off the flames and then layer the red over the blue. And then you have a little cake. Okay. So then we just put repo on there. Cake. And that's just for the candles. And then there's the red part. That's the red cake. All right, isn't that fun? So we have a layered multicolor little punch there. And here's the rest of my layout. You can see I did end up trimming the photos here. I didn't have a photo here, so I just put this in here. And then I am going to do my journaling down here with the new jelly roll pens, which they sold out of. And maybe if we ask them, they'll get some more because these are awesome. I did it on my sample one.
I'm sorry, what are the jelly roll pens?
It was a jelly roll, a white pen. They came out with them and they sold out really quickly. When they came out with the, did you guys see these, the write-on stickers in black?
Yes, now I remember. I'm sorry. I was like,
Okay, yeah. So when they came out with these, they came out with this white jelly roll pen. So I'm hoping they're going to come out with them again. They sold out rather quickly. But anyway, you can see how nice it looks on this. This is like a darker blue here. And so then you can see I wrote down just right on my paper right there. So I will do the same thing here. And that's my second layout. There we go. Anybody have any questions or anything? Or we can share a couple other people finished.
Mm-hmm. I can share.
Yeah.
I can share.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. All right, this is Ireland, and it's done with the Ireland scenes paper.
Nice, and that border maker is really pretty for that. Very nice.
I'm sorry, which word
Nice.
did you use?
I don't even know. I don't know. I'm terrible with the names of the border maker punches. Let me just see if I can pull it out here.
Anybody else know? I'm sorry, I don't know it either.
I don't know. This border maker punch.
Oh, it's like the
Mhm.
houndstooth one? Or
No,
that's something else.
I
don't
think
know.
that's diamond borders.
Oh, yeah.
diamond,
border-
something diamond, geometric diamond, maybe?
I don't know. Diamond something, but that's what I do. I'm terrible with the names, but that's what I use to put it on. And this,
That's a good one for the Ireland, yeah, with the green. That came out great, Pat.
Yep.
Nice.
yep, thank you.
Good.
Excellent. And then we have Lynn.
Sure.
And Lynn does digital, so she'll share her screen with us.
Oh, very nice.
Wow, beautiful.
So you notice the
that's a
diamond
cool-
theme?
It's very
Diamond
similar. That's beautiful.
Ah,
Well, this is a vintage memories kit from I think it's from Panstoria. That's what it said. And this was just a cutout of X's actually that I squished
Oh.
together and
Cool. You made your own border. How fun.
Yep.
I like your journaling and your flourish there. Very nice.
well, the flourish came from the same kit.
Okay, cool. Very
It
nice.
was this one here.
Neat. Excellent.
So
I don't know if we have anybody else who
rotated
can
it.
share. I think that might be it because I don't.
I am not done, so.
Okay. All right. Well, you can share your photos in the album that I've already made, so that would be awesome. All right. So we'll wrap this up. Kari, are you going to do a separate digital one?
Yeah, I'll do a
back on?
separate digital one.
Okay, we're going to do this. Kari's going to do it digitally as well. So check that out. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
That was great, Cheryl. Thanks so
Thank you,
much.
Cheryl.
Good job, Cheryl.